drag it is these golden made jeans. Is this the coolest way of getting through your teens? Well, I cut my hair weird, I read that it was in. I looked like a rooster that was drowned and raised again. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Why don't you get away? I'm gonna live today.
Why are you telling me this? I'm not interested in your life story.
Hi guys, Cherikota. And 50 years ago on this night, I was in the Hazel Court packing my Brackpan High school bag with the bag, the haversack with all the band names I'd written, and packing my Swazi shield and my Bowie knife that Brian Gould gave me, a tin of porridge and a few other belongings, and getting ready to come back to Australia. What had been set, the train of motion, probably started about a year before that. We were living in the house in Gladstone Avenue and driving the neighbours mad. Dad, my brother and I. Dad bought us this hi-fi unit that we used to put on 10, and we'd play our Black Sabbath, Wishbone Ash, Uriah Heep, Grand Funk, Jethro Tull albums, all those classic Deep Purple albums, and we were like feral kids, you know, driving the neighbours mad, the Afrikaners. And one night, Dad was working in Springs, and he was on like a early morning shift, starting at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And he was sleeping, and my friend Van Rensburg came over, and I stole the keys for the car from next to Dad's bed. And Van Rensburg and I were driving around Brackpan. I was, 15 years old. The SAPS, the South African police, pulled us over in Voortrekker Road and parked the car and drove me home. Woke up poor Dad in his bed. He had to walk up to Voortrekker Road to get his car, me trailing behind him, copping abuse all the way, holding my head down. And the next morning when he got to work, he'd slept in, had a fight with the boss, and he got sacked. So he had to find work in Johannesburg. So he threw in the lease on Gladstone Avenue, and he put my brother and I in Hazel Court. I'll put some footage of Hazel Court to show you guys. Yeah. And now we can park outside Hazel. Yeah, just park here for a second. So this is where Aidan and I lived in our last days, or my last days in Britain. Aidan will be interested in this because opposite was the printers.
The printers across the road, yeah.
Still sort of is, isn't it?
When he did his.
Yeah. As we step out, we get that magnificent aroma of Brackpan urine. So,
you had the print shop over there, and then you had Belfast again up there. You know,
right.
the calendars and all the other shit.
Yeah, oops. So I'm not sure. I don't think we had a balcony. So I think it might have been that one or that one. I'm not sure.
No, they've all got balconies. They're 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we didn't.
Right. Maybe there's ones on the back.
Yeah, right. So
Remember, this is where we had the black labels. We bought them from you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And not long after that, we went to the drive-in, and he said that he wanted to show me this letter that my sister had written from Australia, and she was offering to put me up in the house that she was moved into with her boyfriend at the time, and I could come back if I wanted to Australia. So to my mind, the way that Dad sort of sold it to me was just go back for a year or so, finish your school, and then you can decide if you want to come back or not. I didn't know that that would be the last time that I'd be living with my family, as in my brother and my dad. So with the opportunity to come back to Australia, which had, you know, coloured TV and rock bands touring, and I could grow my hair, you know, I jumped at it. That last New Year's Eve that I had in Brakpan, I got the train on a whim. Got the train into Johannesburg. Dad was working in the Islamic section of Joburg in those days, and I waited at the hotel for him. They said they didn't know where he was. I waited a while, about an hour or so, and fortunately he pulled up in his car, and I got to spend one last New Year's with my dad. I saw him many times over the years, but I think that was the last New Year's we had, me and him. We went to Hillbrow, walked around the crowds, had something to eat, and ended up staying at the hotel with him. Just put some cushions on the floor and slept next to the bed. And yeah, so tomorrow we're getting in the car. We're going down to Nyora Street, where my sister was living, and I'm going to walk around a bit and share some memories of those early days of being back in Australia in January 1976, 50 years ago tomorrow. Alright, I'll take you guys along.
Why are you telling me this? I'm not interested in your life story.
Folks, Jerry Cotta, out to create some content. So 50 years ago today, it's the 15th of January. Let's go back to 1976. I was taken out to Jan Smuts Airport. My dad, my brother, and my brother's ex-girlfriend, Agnes. We were very close, Agnes. Just, there's a roadblock. The police has blocked off the road where I want to go. Apparently there's a car accident. So that's okay, we've got to go up to Racecourse Road, turn left there. So yeah, I was just saying that Dad took me out to Jan Smuts Airport with my brother and Agnes. Agnes had been engaged to my brother, but they at this stage had broken up, but she was very fond of me, very kind to me, was Agnes. So she came out, and you know, it was crazy what I had in my backpack. I don't remember about a suitcase. I must have had a suitcase, but my backpack was what I took on the plane. Like I had a knife, I had a tin of porridge, I had a cowhide shield. They're all in my Brakpan High haversack. Now, when a lot of stuff had been going down in Australia when I was away, not that I knew about it. You know, Australia had changed under Gough Whitlam, become a sort of more progressive country. We'd been ruled by the Conservatives under Menzies for decades, but under Whitlam, the Labor Prime Minister, Australia, you know, got out of the Vietnamese War. Gay rights were being talked about. Aboriginal land rights were being talked about. Women's rights, the arts, music were being funded more. And then remember, just, 6 weeks before I got back, Whitlam was dismissed. He was sacked. And Malcolm Fraser came in. Not that any of that interested me or I understood anything about it. But yeah, it was a tumultuous year, 75 and 76, both personally and internationally. Not long after leaving South Africa, the riots in Soweto broke out by the students, and it was really the beginning of the death knell of apartheid and, minority white government. I could never imagine that. I never imagined that the Afrikaners would give up power. I thought they'd fight right till the end of the beach in Cape Town. There's a truck that... a bit of an idiot. Yeah, I'll get round him. Thanks, mate. Here comes another truck. So yeah, I don't remember much about that that flight. Once again, I was 15. I do remember that I sat next to a woman and her little girl. The little girl was about 3 or 4, and I was telling them that the house I was going to live in, which was my sister's, that they had Megan, who was about 4 or 5. So on the flight over, me and the little girl were, I suppose I was trying to keep her occupied while her mum had a rest or something. I was collected by Roscoe, Pauline and the little girl, and he had this funny little orange, it was like a Honda Civic. I'm not sure if it was a Civic, but it was tiny. I always remember the words, it runs on a smell of an oily rag. I love that saying. And, I would have been real excited. I do remember asking about what was on TV. Was F Troop still on? Get Smart. And, we went to see my nana, my grandmother. And my Grampy, we called him, my grandfather. We went to see them in their flat in Elsternwick a few years ago now. Went back to that block of flats where my grandparents lived. I doubt it's there anymore. They were all boarded up. They were all going to be either renovated or demolished. It was cheap government housing for, I'd say, pensioners. We're going to go up the steps now. I believe these are the steps we went up to Nana and Gramps' house. I really do. And I think they were number 5. And you can see there's not even any doors now. But I kind of think I used to walk along here. And it might have been this one. I'll see if I can find a number. There's not much here. And then, we made our way to Nyora Street, where we're going now. Very different world, very different Melbourne to what we have these days. Probably less than 3 million people in Melbourne at that time. There's some kangaroos up ahead. Guys, a few roos for you. Best to slow down when you see them. As they can, and they will, cross again in front of you. Yeah, he's gone over the fence. Yeah, one of the things I remember getting back was my sister had these Australian Army, but it was real soft, sort of khaki coloured, soft material and a light sort of khaki in it. And to my mind it went really well with denim, went really well with jeans. So I was always bugging her about wearing this army shirt until eventually she gave it to me. But yeah, I remember the early days we were going out to functions. There was a bit of an issue about me going to this function. Of course I wanted to wear the army shirt, and in fact within 6 months of getting back, my sister got married to Roscoe. They'd only been living together, and I insisted on wearing the army shirt to the wedding, which was just in a park. It was no big deal. Yeah, that led me to a love of going to the army disposal store and buying ex-military stuff. Alright, we're back on the main road after the diversion, so shit, not too bad. Alright, well next time I talk to you will be at Nyora Street. It's 10 to 10 in the morning. I left home about 7:30 and I've arrived at night. Yeah, battery died on me. So yeah, again, 50 years ago, a little orange Honda would have pulled up. They had a funny habit, the people in this street back then. They used to park on either side of the road wherever they wanted. These people are parking the right way. But Roscoe used to always park facing that way. So I think this is my sister's neighbour. Huge renovation. Look at it. Wow, look at that. God, look at these things. I probably don't have to tell you if you've got observant eyes, but this is a very wealthy suburb, right? And this is it. This is 12 Nyora Street, so we would have parked there before we went in. Carried my bag. This used to be a little wooden picket fence that I put my hand up to paint it one time, and yeah, never got it finished. But this jacaranda tree, this is a tree I used to sit in the first months of coming back. Used to sit up in this tree, taking the world in. I mean, this house is gorgeous. It used to be just a weatherboard house that Roscoe bought from his father. There's a collie dog I can see through the fence, he can't see me. But yeah, that's 12 Nyora Street, so it was an old 1940s weatherboard house. As I said, Roscoe bought it from his father, Pa. And in fact it was Pa's room they gave me. It was kind of like that. Same sort of house, right? And what I want to do is recreate one of the things that I remember most. After we got there and I put my bags down and they showed me the house. They showed me the room where Pa had been staying, but they cleared it out for me. And I remember my sister saying, you know, if you want to put your posters up, I mean, I bought a big bag of posters from Brackpan. Alice Cooper, The Who, T-Rex, Slade. She said there's this new stuff called Blue Tack. If you want to put your posters up, you know, make sure you use the Blue Tack. Can you imagine that? Something new, Blue Tack. That's how long ago we're talking, mate. Fucking 50 years it's half a century. Well, duh. my sister and Roscoe, they had a lot of cats and dogs. They had 2 dogs and 4 cats when I got here, or soon after. And they used to walk the dogs down to this end of the street and then cross over and go back again, and you'd look back and all the cats would be walking with them. In a cat-like manner they'd be walking. We're going down to Hedgeley Dean Gardens, which is where my sister got married to Roscoe, sort of within a few months of me getting back. Yeah, I wore the famous army shirt. Once I got it on, there was no way I was giving it back to her. Still wouldn't mind one of them, actually. A lot of the houses around, all the suburbs around Melbourne, inner Melbourne, have these laneways, cobblestone laneways. And they'll have lanes at the back, access to the house. That collie dog living at number 12. Could have no idea of all the dogs and cats that lived there before him. You know, some of them are probably in the backyard. So this will take us to the back of my sister's house. And this is one of the big memories of that first hour after I put the bags down and showing the room. And as I said, we had been to see my nana and gramp, and we're going to go up to the shops where my sister stopped. She got some stuff to make us lunch or something, a lettuce, I think. I know we stopped at the fruit and veg guy. These walls are just the same. Yeah, I've always loved the laneways of Melbourne. My last summer, before we went to South Africa, actually I spent with my schoolmates on our push bikes, exploring all the laneways and alleys of Brighton. Anyway, we'll see if we can find it. It might be here. Might be. Oh yeah, I think it's this. I think it's coming to this black. Yeah, right, okay, it's this one with the black. Garage. There used to be a little door just there. In that corner was a little wooden door that you pushed on to come out here. That garage was much smaller. So anyway, we went out in the yard. It was bigger than what it is now. The first time I got a good look at Roscoe and got to talk to him. He had long hair, you know, and he had a big droopy moustache. And, you know, having come from Blackburn, trust me, guys didn't have long hair or big droopy moustaches like he had. You know, he had jeans on. And anyway, he said, "Do you want to go and kick the footy?" And, did I ever? So anyway, he grabbed the footy. We came through there and we started walking down here, and this would become a real big place for me. Yeah, no, he got talking to me, and you know, he was a cool guy. He's probably he's probably late 20s, maybe 28 or something, maybe, yeah, about 28 I reckon. So, I hadn't had my hands on Australian rules football for 5 years. Well, what I'm getting at, guys, is something's happened in the time shift. So if I lived in South Africa for 5 years, back then it felt like freaking 10, right? And I did an episode where I went down to Port Melbourne to watch to the pier when we got on the ship to go to South Africa, which was 5 years ago, and it feels like 2 years. That's how fast things are going. So yeah, but that black garage that we were looking at with the roller door, it was a lot smaller, just had a dirt floor. But not long after getting back, within the first week or so, Roscoe went and bought this MG. He's still got it. It's an MGA, right? It's beautiful white with red leather interior. It'd be worth a fortune. Yeah, he's still got it, but he had it for he went and bought it. I might have gone with him when he bought it. And within a couple of nights of him having it, the drive shaft broke, or it did a clutch or something. So the guy that sold it came and helped him. I remember them in that garage, replacing the bits. So you used to cut straight through here, alright? But this is where we came, me and Roscoe, with the footy. I don't remember if it might have been the plastic footy. I don't remember, maybe it was leather, proper one. None of this was here, this tall hedging. And I came here for my friend Kim's memorial a few years ago. Right, now we can cut through, because there's a very important tree. It's gorgeous, as you can see. I don't think I'll ever come back here, you know. I don't think I'll ever come back to Naira Street. There's no need. But this tree here was just coincidentally where Kim had her, where they had the memorial for her. But it was backwards and forwards here that me and Roscoe were kicking the footy, right? And then once I got living here, you know, I was really lonely the first 6 months or so. So I invented a game. I used to come down here. None of this was here. It was a big clearer area, and I used to come down here with a football, and I'd handball it off this tree. I'd kick the ball off this tree, then catch it, and run around there talking to myself like I was commentating, bouncing the ball, marking it. You know, this old fella, hey old friend, yeah, used to bounce the ball off here. Hey old buddy, God, you got big, didn't you? Well, it was big then. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And yeah, look, I was lonely. And for the first 6 months, well, we're going to walk up to where the shops are. There's the tram for the number 5 to go in the city. For the first 6 months, maybe 8 months, I used to always go into the city and visit the South African Airlines office, pick up their brochures and get prices on flights to Johannesburg. You know. But this is a trail, though it doesn't look as big as I remember it. And that's where we had Kim's memorial. So I'm going to take you guys, and this is where my sister got married. They were standing over there. And once again, me and my cousin, whatever he is, almost a stepbrother, we were kicking the football backwards and forwards. And this is where I let go of some of Kim's ashes when I came back about a couple of years ago. I bought some of Kim's ashes and I got in under that tree. And there's a little private place there. And I let the ashes go just in there. Right? And I can see the big fish in there. Massive big goldfish or koi. In fact, it smells like Thailand here. It smells of the lemongrass. Oh, look at the baby. Look at you, you're all fluffy. Hello, Fluffy. He's all fluffy. Must be his mum. Maybe it's this tree giving off the lemon smell, but yeah, it smells like lemongrass. I don't know. So, another thing I used to do, there's another baby with the fluff. He must be a springtime baby. Used to get a bit of stick with some string and put some meat on it, and I'd come down here and dunk it in the lake and try and catch yabbies, which was something we did as kids. Look at these are all the babies. And then one time I'm sitting down here, right, minding my own business. I've got my stick with my bit of meat. I don't know what I was going to do if I got the yabbies. And this kid comes up and says, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for yabbies." He says, "Oh, can I have a go?" So I give him the stick, right? And he throws it out in the middle of the lake and runs off. So I chased him. He ran into a house, acting like it was his. But I just want to finish this episode by saying the very biggest influence or change on me when I got back to my sister's house and adjusted to Australia in 1976, remembering that South Africa had no television, or just got television as I was leaving, was the advent of colour television in Australia. Once I saw that TV turned on when I got back on that first day at my sister's house, my jaw dropped to the carpet, and you had real trouble dragging me away from the television. My schooling, my studies, all that suffered because of my addiction to television back in those long gone, dim, dark days.
Why are you telling me this? I'm not interested in your life story.